Ever since we are born, we identify ourselves with the physical body. We are given a name, particular name, which we are being called and which we respond to. Your work, your life, your entire existence itself is based on your physical body. Will you believe if I tell you that this is not the only level of existence you can live in? Your identification of the physical body, your identification with the physical body is not your only existence. There are things beyond this also. And that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you. That you're not just the physical body, you're the mind, you're the energy, you're the intellect, and you are the happiness. This is where the understanding of the Panchakosha comes, the 5 layers of existence. What are the 5 different layers of existence? What does it even mean? How does it gonna make a change to you by understanding it? Let's understand the same. So this is what we call as the Panchakosha. Panchakosha means kosha means different layers. So all of us live in 5 different layers of existence. What is this? What does this even mean? The first, let me tell you about the first layer of existence. All of us live at the physical level. So this is what is called as the physical sheath. We call this as Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha means your existence is at the physical level. You work, you're alive, you feel the presence of your physical body. All of these things are there. You're physically alive. This is the first layer of existence. 99% of the people carry this existence, the physical existence, to their deathbed. They identify themselves with the name, with the body alone. It's only 1% of the people or the practitioners or humans understand that they are not just the physical body. There is more to life than the physical body. Once you start getting this understanding, okay, I'm not just the body, I think something more exists. There's something more beyond the physical body. If you have ever had this thought, okay, not just the physical body, I think there's more to my life than just beautifying my physical appearance. If this thought had come to you, you're in the right direction. Beyond the physical body comes the second one, the pranamaya kosha, which is, what does prana mean? Prana means life force or vital energy. We are physically present, we eat food, we get strength, we get physical strength. This is what is needed for us to walk, to be able to think. The energy is the physical level. But when the food starts to break down, the energy that you get from the digested food is the prana. This is the vital energy, this is the subtle energy. The freshness that you feel after you have eaten food, that is what we call as the prana shakti, the energy that you get from the food that you eat. This is indeed the second layer of your existence. So first is your body existence, your physical existence. So this is the physical body. Second is the pranic body. You see this? The yellow one? That's why there are 5 different images here, is to make you understand this a bit easier. When you fall sick, when you are very exhausted, that's an indication that your life force has gone down. And when this life force goes down, that is when you feel tired, that is when you feel exhausted. What is it that you have to do in order to overcome that? You have to rest, you have to eat, you have to think in the right direction. This, my friend, is the second layer of existence. Physical body is the not your only identity. Yeah, that's the right word to you. The physical body is not your only identity. You see this? You have something beyond the body, and that is nothing but the energy. Does anything exist beyond this? Yes. Beyond energy lies the mind, the manomaya kosha. This is the third layer of existence. Physical presence is there, energy presence is there. What lies beyond the energy is the mind. You all most of the time think, or you have this assumption, okay, For me to think, I need energy. And you're right. Only when you have the right energy that is needed for you to stay alive, stay awake, only then you can think. Your thinking ability has gone down. Why? Because the energy is low in you. When the energy surplus, and there's enough energy in you, you'll have everything that is needed for you to start working here. The mental clarity comes when the energy is there. You see how everything is connected? This is your third layer of existence. Physical body is not your only layer of existence. And then comes the fourth one. What does your mind do? M- The mind is the source of all the thinking. Your intellect, your smartness comes from the mind. So if you've been identifying yourself with just the body up until now, that means you are one among the 99% of people. But you have to identify yourself with the body if you have to go beyond it. You can't say, okay, I'm not going to identify with I'm not going to identify myself with the body and then completely ignore it. No, it will not function and you have to respect it. You do not own your body. You have leased it for how many number of years you are alive. If I'm going to be alive for 100 years, that means I have rented my physical body for 100 years. And when you rent something, you make sure you maintain it the way you got it. It is going to age by time, but at least you're doing your best to maintain it, to keep it in the healthiest, you know, a way possible. So once your mind understand that you're not just the body, that you are the mind, after some time you start to understand, okay, I'm not just the mind. I am the thinking process itself. What is the thinking process? How do you consider yourself as an intelligent person? What is the meaning of the word intellect? Whom do you call a person intelligent? The person or a student who has found his source of happiness in whatever subject he is reading, he is considered as an intelligent person. Just because someone scored 100 on 100 in math, 100 on 100 in physics, doesn't make them an intelligent person. This is the most stupidest, flawed thing schools, colleges, ignorant teachers are doing. Our intelligence is directly dependent on the love for our subject. Each and every one of us are intelligent. It is just that you haven't figured out what is it that you love. Once you figure out what is it that you love, you start becoming intelligent, you start becoming smart. That is when you start to understand. And when you reach this stage where you have reached peace with yourself, you've understood, okay, where your love, which subject you love, which is the path of knowledge you love, then you become ignorant towards the physical body. You really don't care how your body functions, how your energy levels are, how your mind is. You focus only on the thinking process. There are a lot of these sages, monks, and all, they fall sick. There are a lot of sages who died of cancer, who died of severe respiratory problems. Then you can ask, why do they suffer from these things? It is only the body that is suffering. Their intelligence, their thinking is sharp. So, let me give you another example. Your physical body is now sick. You get a fever, you get a viral fever, whatever. As soon as you fall sick, your mind becomes weak. Your ability to think what is right and what is wrong, that becomes weak. You lose clarity of yourself. You feel like you're dying when you lie on the bed. But when you understand these layers of existence, you'll start to have this understanding that sickness or falling sick is only at the body level. Then the body gets sick when you don't let the sickness or the disease that the body is experiencing into the mind, into the prana. That is when you will have a lot of charity in life. You lose the ability to think what is right and what is wrong because you don't know or you haven't learned how to leave the physical sick body at the body level itself. You carry the limitations of the body, you carry the diseases of the body to the mind, to the intellect, it starts to rot. That is why, they say imperfections of the body or a sick body for a prolonged duration has its own influence on the functioning of the mind. But when you understand this, you have a complete insight as to who you are. You know how sharp your thinking process is. That is when you become intellectually strong. Intelligence is all about finding the source of knowledge, finding the path that is very close to your heart and pursuing it. That is when you become really smart. That is when you become intelligent. That is when you know what to say yes to, or to say no to. After this comes Ananda. If you are not experiencing happiness in its purest form, here is the reason. Your happiness is at the end. First, you have to cross the physical body, Annamaya. Then you have to cross the energy. You have to cross the mind. You have to cross the intellect. Then comes happiness. True happiness lies inside. That is the reason, you see this segregation, you see this difference. You have to cross 5 humongous bridges if you have to reach a state where you experience true happiness, or if you have to experience happiness in its purest form. To experience happiness in its purest form, you have to first cross the hurdle of physical body, pranic body, the mental body, and the intellectual body. So these are the 5 layers of existence. I know most of the time you feel that you aren't happy. There is no happiness, and even if there is, this happiness is limited. Only for a certain point of time you're happy, and then again you fall sick or you become unhappy. Why is it that you experience or you do not experience happiness throughout your day, throughout your life? Why is it that there is always, ups and downs? What is the reason? If you're experiencing something like this means there is no balance at the physical level, mental level, the energy level, and the intellectual level. Only when a person is balanced in all these 5 levels, at the body level, at the mind level, at the energy level, at the intellectual level, that is when you experience happiness in the purest form, which is what we call as Ananda. This is what we call as Anandamaya Kosha. If you have to experience happiness in the purest form, you have to balance all these things. That is why we do asana. That is why we do pranayama. That is why we do meditation. That is why we read books. Why do you think we do physical movements, sit and concentrate on the breath, control our mind, and read good things? We do all these things so that we experience happiness in the purest form, not just as the physical body. See, you may be physically fit, you may be mentally, clear and pure, but if your energy levels are bad, if your thinking process is flawed, you can't experience happiness. But you have immense clarity in your mind. Your energy levels are completely balanced. You know what is right and what is not wrong. But if your physical body is weak, you can't experience happiness. Your physical body is in the best shape imaginable. Your energy levels are also balanced. Your mind is completely clear. You have clarity of the mind. But if your thinking process is flawed, if your thinking process is rotting on the inside, you can't experience happiness in the purest form. So here's my secret. To experience happiness in the purest form, you have to balance all these things. Let me give you the best example and wind this up. 4 of you live in a home, or 3 of you live in a home, or 2 of you live in a home. Each and every one of you needs to be happy. Whoever is staying under one roof, if everything has to be, the energy levels in the home has to be balanced. If even just one person is angry or there's some sort of quarrel between them, the energy levels in the home is gone. Each and every person who stays, there are 4 people in my home. So even if one person is angry, if one person is suffering from some kind of pain, sorrow, it affects everyone. The same way, if the physical body is weak, it affects your mind, it affects your energy levels. Or if your energy levels are bad, if your physical body is good, it affects your mind. You have to make sure your physical body, your mental approach to things, your energy levels, and your thinking process is clear. When all of these things are balanced, that is when you experience happiness. This emptiness you feel, this unhappiness that you feel inside yourself is because there is imbalance in either one of these levels. At any point of time in your life, if ever you feel, okay, I'm not experiencing happiness in the purest form, I'm not at all happy. I have everything I need. What is it that is lacking? If you want to figure out yourself, come to this chart, follow this, assess yourself. See, you don't need teachers, you don't need gurus. There is no better teacher, there is no better guru than yourself. And with this understanding, you can gain immense clarity into who you are. You can understand where the energy is lacking, what is lacking in you. And then the physical body is weak. Make sure you do whatever is needed to make it fit. You're mentally weak, practice meditation, spend some mindful time in the forest, go for a hike, spend time in nature, travel. Your energy levels are weak. Be mindful about the food you eat. Be mindful about whom you spend time with. You are not intellectually strong. There's nothing for you to share. You feel like it's empty here. Start reading books. Start listening to podcasts. Start listening to lectures. When you take care of your physical body, when you take care of your mental body, when you take care of your energy levels, and you know, okay, I have enough clarity here, that is when you experience happiness in the purest form. And this is what we call as true happiness, call as ananda. When you are in this state every single day, that is when life becomes meaningful. You can't be happy just for one day, just because you earned money, just because you got a job, just because you reached an accomplishment. That is not happiness. Having a balance in all different layers in yourself is what true happiness is. I hope this brought some sense of clarity in you. Now you know that you're not just the physical body, you are beyond that. Do not restrict and do not restrain yourself just to the physical body. Think about these things, contemplate on these things. Take a printout of this, put it wherever you spend most time with, and start to contemplate on this. If you found this useful, don't just keep this for yourself. You learn, you feel free only when you share the happiness. Knowledge is happiness, and that's exactly what I'm sharing with you. I hope you gained insight and immense clarity in it. Do let me know how you felt about this in the comments. It's going to help me help you in a much bigger way. Don't just keep this for yourself. Share this with the person who's in need of this. Rise, shine, and evolve. Namaskara.